Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Blackmagic Craft. I, like many of you, have spent way too many hours in this hobby drawing little individual bricks. And to be honest, I kind of hate that part of the hobby and that part of building terrain and buildings. It's not that fun to spend hours drawing little individual bricks. I mean, maybe it is for you, but it's not for me, and I'm guessing I'm not alone in that. I dislike it so much that, as you've seen before in past videos and project showcases, that I often actually cut little individual foam bricks and glue them on one by one to buildings because I find that less annoying than drawing and carving them all out. That being said, while that looks really good, it is still also very time consuming, and I've always been after a better option. I've been familiar with for a while the texture rolling pins by GreenStuffWorld.com. They are acrylic rolling pins that are designed to imprint various patterns and textures quickly into green stuff or clay or putty for miniature bases. And I've often wondered how well they would work on XPS foam, if it would scale up and be a useful tool for building terrain. I had thought about them for a long time, but never really gotten around to actually ordering any until recently on the Blackmagic Craft Fellowship group, which is the private Facebook group for my Patreon supporters at a certain level. A discussion started about these rollers and whether or not they work on foam, and a few members actually posted some pictures of the stuff they had done on foam with these rolling pins. It kind of sealed the deal for me that this was a viable option and possibly a really good one for doing stonework on XPS foam. I needed to know for myself. I needed to test these rolling pins out to see if it's something that I would recommend. So I reached out to GreenStuffWorld, let them know who I was, and asked them if they could send me, some of their stuff to demo and try out. And they did. They sent me a couple rolling pins and a few other items, but what I really cared about was these pins. They offer a wide variety of patterns. I don't know how many it actually is, but there's a lot of different patterns, some in various sizes, and they sent me two that I think would be really useful in terrain building. One is a pavement, kind of like an old medieval cobblestone street, and one is bricks, a nice interlocking brick pattern that would be great for walls. So I excitedly tried them out on XPS foam, and I would really like to share with you guys what I found. Now keep in mind, again, these rolling pins are designed to use on clay or green stuff or modeling putty, and without question they are phenomenal for that. 100% work great. The real question is, how do they handle XPS foam on a larger scale? So let's go over to the workbench and I'll show you how those tests turned out. So I have here set up two strips of XPS foam, and these are 3 inches wide. And the reason that they are 3 inches wide is that that is typically the height at which I build my building's walls. So for these rolling pins to be effective, they have to work well on 3-inch wide material, which obviously they will because they are quite a bit wider than that. I also have these strips set up right up against the wall so that when I attempt to roll the pin to give these the texture, they are pushed towards the wall and they don't move around on me, just for a little bit of stability. And I have here two of the pins that GreenStuffWorld offers, a brick pattern and a pavement pattern. And keep in mind, they do have other ones that would be really useful, like the cobblestone ones that they didn't happen to send me. But here we're going to demo the bricks and the pavement. This is gonna be really awkward to do the way I have this camera set up so you can see it. I'm gonna have to reach around in a weird way. However, we're gonna try here. So first I'm gonna try this pavement one, which I'm hoping will work well because I have plans of making a bunch of roads for towns, and for months I've been dreading hand carving pavement. So I'm hoping that this works really well. The trick to this that I can already see is that you're gonna have to keep consistent pressure on this all the way through, and also you're gonna have to try to roll this pin straight and not like this so that the pattern stays pretty parallel to the piece that you're gonna use. And I've done a few tests already, and I've learned that slow, steady pressure seems to be best. So I'm pushing down with a fair amount of force and just carefully rolling forward, trying to keep the pin at a nice 90-degree angle to my foam, and trying to keep pressure across the whole width of the rolling pin. And there we go. And I now have a cobblestone pattern that looks pretty damn great in a matter of seconds. It would have taken me an hour at least or more to carve this in by hand. So now let's take a look at the brick one. And this brick pattern is a very small brick pattern. So there's gonna be a lot of detail in this, and it's gonna be crucial that I keep the pressure even across the whole piece, and especially with this one, keep it running, you know, parallel so that the brick pattern doesn't drift. Again, I'm in a very awkward position here with the camera, but such is life as a YouTuber. All right, here we go. Even pressure. And it's looking really good. There. I would say it's a success. The brick pattern came out really nicely. There's one spot where I didn't keep the pressure down, but it actually still looks fine. I did drift kind of off center, so I'm wondering if when working with a brick pattern like this, it would be better to use an oversized piece and then cut your piece, rip it on the straight brick line. Or I'm sure with a bit of practice, it's easy to keep it straight or use some kind of guide. This is just first initial tests. There's one thing I've noticed with these rolling pins, and keep in mind I've only been using them for a couple days, but I've noticed that the imprint on them seems to work far better on XPS foam on a surface where I've cut it myself on the Proxon table. When I try to indent it directly onto the factory surface, I find it doesn't indent quite as well. So it's definitely beneficial to break your pieces down on a hot wire tool first, because I think it makes the pieces, I don't know, take the indentation a little bit better. But that being said, it still works like on foam off the shelf. Now the really important part is, because you can't probably see this too well, is painting it. I'm gonna skip ahead. I'm gonna paint this using my regular painting technique that I would use on anything that I hand carved. And we'll take a look and see how good it looks. Or bad, but I'm hoping good. So I've gone ahead and painted both of these test pieces out using my regular painting method that I would have used had I hand, drawn or carved these patterns. I wanted to make sure that the patterns really held up to that method, including the Mod Podge layer, because the Mod Podge has a tendency to kind of remove very, very fine details. And I wanted to make sure that these indentations held up to the Mod Podge coating and then the paint. And honestly, they did really well. So with both of them, I did my black Mod Podge layer, a dark gray, a light gray dry brush, then a white dry brush, and then a black wash over everything. And again, I was a little bit concerned that the fact that these indentations are a little bit shallow wouldn't, you know, take the wash as well, but they did. It turned out great. I'm actually a little bit surprised at how well these have turned out for the speed at which you can make them. It's very, very exciting. You know what? Let's take a few close-up looks at these. The wash is still drying a little bit. And then let's zoom out and I'm gonna give you my overall rating of these GreenStuffWorld rollers. Pretty damn good looking test pieces from these rolling pins. I gotta say I'm really happy with the results. Now, full disclosure, just so you know exactly, with all transparency, how my opinions are being formed. GreenStuffWorld has not offered any funding or anything for this review or video. I simply asked them for some stuff to demo. They sent me a couple things, and this is where we're at. So this is not a paid advertisement. I'm really enthusiastic about these pins because they are good and they work. If I have to rate them for XPS foam, I'm gonna give them a solid A. They're not gonna get an A+ simply because they're not the easiest thing to roll. It'd be nice if they had some handles, and the texture, like, it could be a little bit deeper, but again, these are meant for working on modeling putty, not foam, but they happen to work really well on foam. And I don't think I'm gonna be drawing brickwork ever again on walls, because I could make 4 building walls and glue them together in minutes. Something that would normally take me a couple nights of work, I can do in minutes, and the results, honestly, side by side with the stuff I hand carved, these are arguably better. I don't think it looks as good as when you individually glue bricks on. I think that is the best way in terms of quality of look, but this like smashes and destroys hand carving stonework. And where it's really more important, I think, is with this kind of cobblestone pattern. There's no way I could even draw this accurately. It's a way too complex of a pattern, too small, and this is gonna be awesome for when I finally get around to doing my city streets that I've been planning for a while, but I've been avoiding that project because I didn't wanna have to carve this. Now I can do it. Keep in mind, this is just 2 of the patterns offered by them. They have many more. Some that I really wish they had also sent me. They have a couple of cobblestone ones, like kind of like a river rock, that would be phenomenal for buildings and, you know, fantasy terrain. And I'm probably gonna have to order those myself now because they didn't send me those ones. But I highly recommend you take a look through their website and catalog at these pins. They got the Blackmagic seal of approval. I will be getting more of them for myself without a doubt. The good news for you guys is that the other part of this equation, when I reached out to them and asked them for these pins, I also asked them if they could set up some kind of promotion for you guys if you want to purchase them. There is no Blackmagic Craft affiliate link situation going on here. I won't get any kind of kickback from them. I just want you to purchase them because I think they're good and I think they deserve the business. And I asked them if there's anything they could do for my viewers, and they set up a modest discount code for you guys to use if you are ordering anything from their website until October 22nd. You can use the promo code BlackMagicCraft5, no spaces, and that will take 5% off your total order price. I mean, by all means, if you're thinking about it, I think these pins are a great investment for serious terrain builders that want to tackle buildings and streets and that sort of stuff. I might even just start using them for dungeon tiles. I don't know. I'm pretty excited by them. Check them out. pick the ones you like, use the promo code. You got till October 22nd before it expires. And that's kind of the only way that they'll be able to track how them giving me these and you guys hearing about them, how that transferred to sales for them. So I'm hoping that if a lot of you guys do purchase them using that code, that they'll see that it was worth it to give me some stuff, and they can send me some more stuff that I can demo for you guys. Because I'm always excited to show you guys cool things and in theory tell you which things to avoid. It just happens that so far, like, the stuff that I've reached out to ask for has been really good. So I haven't had to tell you not to buy it. I know these product videos aren't necessarily as great as tutorials, but they are something that I think is important moving forward in this channel, because getting the right tools and equipment to make your builds more successful is important. As usual, if you want to pick up any of the other tools and supplies that I use and support the channel by purchasing them, head over to blackmagicraft.ca, check out my Amazon affiliate store, then you can purchase the tools and supplies that I use that are available on Amazon, and by purchasing them, you send a small commission my way that helps fund these videos. Of course, if you really want to help out the channel, head over to my Patreon page. Consider supporting there. And if you support at the $5 a month level or higher, you get membership to the Fellowship, which is the private Facebook community of awesome, cool crafters who support the channel and the craft. And again, are the reason that this, like many of my videos, happen, because it is a circular ring of inspiration there. And I love it, and I would love to see more of you guys join up there. Drop me your comments below. Let me know what you think. If there's other Green Stuff World product that you really want to see tested, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Hit that like button or hit the dislike button. Honestly, guys, for those of you who feel the need to hit dislike on videos for whatever vindictive reason, just know, as far as YouTube's algorithms are concerned, a like and a dislike are the same. So for those of you who feel the need to hit dislike on my videos, thanks for the support, and thanks for driving up my traffic on YouTube. Anyways, until next time, guys, cheers, happy crafting, have a great weekend, and make your life a little bit easier, maybe.